Welcome, welcome, welcome. Get comfy, take a deep breath. Maybe grab a cup of tea, because today we're going to talk about my journey with chronic illness and autoimmunity, and how it obviously transformed my life, and why I'm grateful for it, and how I learned to overcome it. I'm still looking for the right word. I don't totally love the word overcome. Oh, there's a baby deer. But how I learned to wiggle through it, how I learned to work with it and learn from it and really be a student of it. And then use it to create even more joy and abundance and love and gratitude in my life. So today I'm in the woods at my Nana's house, which is coincidentally the first place I ever meditated, which is a really hilarious story because I had just recently developed my chronic illness. I was like, what the fuck? Going through that awakening and that journey and trying to figure it out, and then finding meditation, starting that here for the first time. And I remember going out into the field and sitting down, and I opened a video recording of how to meet your spirit guides, guided meditation, which is a really funny first time meditation to try. But I did it, and I was like 10 minutes in getting absolutely destroyed by ants. And I was like, no, like I can deal with this, like I can get through it, because meditation is about like overcoming and getting through the challenges that you're facing. I was like getting eaten up alive by ants and just being like, no, like it's part of the process. Which it's not. You don't have to do that. I don't know what I was trying to prove. I was clearly naive, and it's really hilarious to look back on that. Anyways, so first of all, what is chronic illness? What is autoimmunity? Chronic illness is simply any illness that lasts a long duration of time and affects your daily life. Autoimmunity is a condition in which your immune system is overactive and in a consistent state of protective mode, which causes many different conditions. It shows up in people's bodies in different ways, and for me, it manifested into rheumatoid arthritis, which is a condition where every joint in the body becomes inflamed, which causes extreme stiffness, inability to move, weakness, brain fog, things like that. So I developed this condition when I was 17. It happened what seemed to be out of nowhere for me. It was almost instantaneous. It happened so fast and so dramatically that all of a sudden I could barely walk, I could barely move, My entire body from head to toe was filled with inflammation. And I feel like I can't elaborate enough how dramatic and severe the pain was to me in the moment, as someone who had never dealt with physical pain of that sort. I didn't have anyone that understood it. I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. And anyone that I did talk to about it thought that I was just being dramatic. And it was like, all of a sudden I was really helpless. So I couldn't open a water bottle or a jar, or barely wipe my ass, or move my neck from side to side. Or get up and down from the ground. So I was really confused, as you can imagine. I was in a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, and it felt like I had just been granted a death sentence. Because what they tell you is that it's incurable, and you can do stuff to like maybe relieve your pain a little bit, but it's not going anywhere, and you're gonna have to learn how to live with it for the rest of your life. And as a 17-year-old girl, I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not, no damn way. And so I went about 6 months going through that intense pain and kind of grieving process before I ever went to the doctor, because I kind of just expected it to get better and go away. Like, I didn't really understand that kind of illness. I only knew that your body healed. You got sick and then you got better. So I kind of just expected it to get better, and then after 6 months of it not getting better, which is a really extended amount of time, but I was lacking support and an understanding of how to move forward. So I went to the doctor, and I had just recently started dabbling in the world of natural medicine, natural healing, and spirituality. So these concepts were swimming in my mind and in my system. And I go to the doctor, they give me a diagnosis. They're like, yeah, shawty, you have arthritis. What we can do is give you this medicine. It was called methotrexate methotrex something. I don't know. It sounded scary, and I was like, okay. They wanted me to inject it into myself once a week, which is also really scary. So at this point, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is terrifying. So I took the medication one time, and I remember it being minorly supportive. Like, I remember feeling a little bit of relief, but it was almost immediately that I was like, this just doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like healing. And if I commit to taking this medicine, then I'm going to be on it for the rest of my life. And right now I don't understand the body, and I don't understand how to heal, but I know somewhere in my being that it's possible. And so I was like, fuck this. I quit taking the medicine. And everyone around me was like, what? And they were just scared for me. They just felt like all they knew were doctors and big pharma, and that was what medicine was, and they just didn't want me to live a life of pain forever and get worse, which I understand. But at the time, I was taking this really big leap that felt scary but felt so true in my being, and I had no support, and everyone around me was like, you're insane and you can't do that and that doesn't work, and yeah. And so, but I was like, I'm gonna do it anyways, because I'd rather live the rest of my life in this pain, knowing that I deeply tried and that I got to know my body so deeply through the process. So I committed to the journey of self-healing and self-exploration, and that choosing opened up an entire new world and realm for me to play and explore in. And while this was such a painful, excruciatingly hard time for me, it opened the door to a new realm of possibility, desire to live, purpose, and hope for me. Because pre-chronic illness, I was extremely depressed. I was anxious as hell, and I had no drive or ideas of what I wanted to do with my life. So this brought me a step closer home to myself and gave me something to live for, because feeling like I received a death sentence showed me how much I was taking for granted and how much I really wanted to live. So boom, heart opened, awakening. If you hear kids screaming, it's because I'm at my grandparents' house and there are kids swimming in the pool. So I'm walking the journey now. And before this, I pretty much only ate fast food and processed foods, and I didn't even know what health actually meant. I didn't understand like a healthy diet or a healthy lifestyle, or like what that could do for you. I thought it was kind of pointless. I didn't understand how much it genuinely affects your experience in life. So I started learning about diet, and I was like, oh my god, and went on the journey of nourishing my body. Really supported my body's ability to bring itself back into remission. I think it's important to remember that our bodies are built for keeping balance and carrying us through life and supporting us and keeping us safe and healthy. Our job is to support it in that process by feeding it nourishing things, by putting it in environments that are healthy and thriving, and keeping our nervous systems as regulated as possible, and connecting and playing and feeling pleasure are like the foundation for our body's ability to thrive. So I transformed my diet. I was at the time drinking alcohol frequently, smoking a ton of weed, exploring with cocaine and Molly frequently. I wasn't really addicted to anything other than tobacco, but I had addictive tendencies which kept me, searching for things outside of myself to feel and gain pleasure and connect. So I quit vaping cold turkey, and it supported my body's ability to let go of inflammation so much that it was shocking how much it did for me. And then I began exploring the world of movement and yoga and meditation and spirituality, which was a complete 360 homecoming for me, because it reminded me who I was and what I loved to do as a child and what brought me the most joy, flow state, pleasure. And it's really interesting because this was something that was like almost built into me when I was younger. It's like my home, my way of self-regulating, was always movement coming into my body. And my teenage years, I had completely forgotten this part of myself. I was 100% disconnected and completely forgot how much I loved this art and how much I loved to move and to dance and to stretch and flip and be in my body. And when I say completely forgot, I really mean I completely forgot. It was zero part of me anymore. And I remember starting my first consistent yoga practice again, and then like a wave of remembrance washing and coming over me and being like, wait, oh, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what I love. And this is what I loved. So that was a really, really huge part of my journey. Not only because I love the art of movement so much, but because our body's tissues are so dependent on movement, hydration of the joints and of the tissues. And if we've been stagnant for a long time, our body simply can't and won't do its functions properly. You might have heard the saying before that the body remembers trauma and that the tissues hold trauma. And this has certainly been a truth for me as I dive deeper into my body. And a lot during the first few years of unraveling for me, I would experience all the time myself deep in movement or meditation, and then something that I had forgotten about that was traumatic to me would be felt in a certain part of my body, and it would genuinely feel like a certain part of my body was holding that memory, and that it was locked there because the tissues were locked. And it's a really intelligent function that our body holds, because when we go into a trauma response in our nervous system, it's too much for our nervous system to handle. The stress doesn't just go away, and in fact continues until we give it the space to process again. So in short, we go through something traumatic, it gets kind of pushed down and suppressed because we don't know how to give it the space to process. And then it shows up and manifests in our life through illness, through symptoms like body pain, anxiety, depression, an array of things. And until we give our body that foundational safe space to process again, it won't. But when we do, and when it feels safe again, then it will start to complete the cycle of processing that traumatic event. And then suddenly that memory will come back around and you'll be like, oh my God, I was just carrying this with me all this time. Like, no wonder my body's screaming at me. So movement really, really, really supports the unraveling of the tightness of our tissues. And then herbal medicine came into my life, and it was another like light bulb, brilliant, inspiring moment that went off for me, and a rabbit hole as well that brought me closer to nature's support, and that anything and everything we're experiencing has a medicine that can be found in the natural world. And so I started deeply studying that and playing around with other herbs and using them to support my body's healing process. So at this point, I was in the beginning stages of my healing. I was freshly in the world of spirituality and natural things and love and shadow work, and I was seeing results. I was seeing results not only in my physical body, but in my mental and in my relationships, and in the way that I walked and the way that I showed up in the world was completely transformed. And the people around me were seeing it, and they were like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Quickly, my biggest pain and hardship became my greatest pleasure and the path in which I wandered home to myself. I became extremely grateful, and no longer was God or the universe out to get me, but we were teammates playing on the same team together, and looking out for each other. So the healing journey has been slow. I'm 21 now. It's been 4 years since it first started and happened. There are maybe 2 places in my body where I still experience inflammation, but not as near as much as I did before at all. And I see it slowly but surely continuing to move out of my system. Over the years, like at the beginning of the journey, it was very much like I was trying to fix the problems that I was experiencing, and now I'm very much at the part of the journey where I'm just feeling my way through it and no longer feeling like I'm something that needs to be fixed. I think it's important to remember, if this is something that you're going through, that this is a really gradual journey, and that while you can change your diet immediately, you can start moving your body immediately, you can start doing, nervous system regulation, but it's going to take time for your nervous system to really understand that it's safe and that it's no longer necessary to be in fight or flight. And it's going to take time for your gut microbiome to heal. And it's going to take time to learn your body's unique way of whispering to you and what you specifically need. But it's such a beautiful, rewarding journey and so dramatically worth it. And if you choose to walk it, then you can feel so free to reach out to me. I would love to hear your story as well. I'm an absolute nerd about learning about illness now, and the different kinds of illnesses and their root causes and where they come from. I would love to be a part of your journey, as a friend, guide, teacher, whatever. I also offer one-on-one sessions and mentorships, so if you want, you can reach out to me about that. The focus is bringing your body back into a state of safety so that it can begin to heal itself. Because we don't heal our bodies, we give them the environments to heal themselves. So I guide you through the process of that. I am currently in the process of creating a few different resources, one of them being a longer-term program to teach you everything you need to know about supporting yourself through chronic illness and reclaiming your health, your body. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you have, if I inspired you in any way, I would love to hear about it. You can leave me a comment or contact me directly. I am sending you so much love on your journey wherever you are.